What up? What up? It's getting real. What up? What up? Welcome back to the channel. This is the Mo You Know, and I'm Mo J. And today we're going to be talking about the ports on the East Coast and in the Gulf going on strike beginning October 1st. Let's just hope this doesn't make it to the West Coast. Let's just hope this doesn't make it to the West Coast because it's going to be very, very damaging. Also, we're going to talk about the hurricane and how that's also playing a huge role in the economic atmosphere that we are in right now, or should I say you guys are in. My stuff is good over here. You feel me? What you guys are in. But we're going to talk about all that right now. There are some things I don't agree with the strike, but I do agree with why they're doing the strike. But we're gonna do all of that. What up, Kendall? What up, Torian? Eric? Catalyst? What's going on, Lily? Yeah, man. It's wild. It's wild. So I mean, we'll fill in the details. We'll take it from where it started, and then we'll go into where they are right now. It's getting kind of crazy out there. Somebody got hit with like a trash can today, man. They were out there. Someone got hit by a trash can. They talking about over the next 6 years, they want $5 a year. Gee, starting with the highest paid people. We're going to go through all of that. Basically, they saying if we making $39 an hour right now, by the end of this 6 years, we want to be making $69 an hour. Every 5 years, every year for the next 6 years, they want a $5 raise. I said, woo. But we're gonna go into details with that. Now, you know me. I won't say I have an economic background, but I like numbers. You know, they say I be pocket watching. Well, guess what? I'm about to pocket watch big time today. We're not dealing with little numbers. We're dealing with at least, hear me out, at least 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, at least 10 digits. That means 9 zeros. All right. So we'll start with the ports, where they are today, and how this is going to really affect stuff. I just found out also in Canada, in Montreal, they are protesting. Well, they're not protesting. They're on strike up there for the docks also. So this could go all the way around. This is only on the East Coast and in the Gulf. But if it makes it to the West Coast, I'm telling you, that's going to be the worst thing ever because we get so much shit from China. 80% of their exports comes to the United States of America. Also, remember, I have a bachelor's in international trade. So that's where that comes in. That was what I envisioned when I left Germany. I was like, let me get a degree. So I went to Arizona State, international trade. Then I finished my degree up when I went to San Jose, which I switched over to just get a business degree because they didn't have, a focus on international trade at the school that I went to. But that's a little bit about me. My name is Mo J. This is the Mo You Know, and we're going to jump into this. Let me see. We'll start with the ports. Here we go. All right. Port strike called at East and Gulf Coast cargo facilities as dock workers walk off the job. Now, I put this in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's pinned in the chat. I was looking at this over Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday, I took a nice little nap before we talked about Monet. And I said, damn, this strike looks like it's going to be pretty damn serious. Well, they said they were going to go ahead and do it on the 1st. So, port strike called at East Coast Gulf. Yeah, at East and Gulf Coast cargo facilities as dock workers walk off the job. Well, you know how that goes.
We turn now to another breaking story overnight. At least 25,000 union dock workers in the eastern and southern U.S. have walked off the job after talks failed to reach a new contract. The strike threatens to disrupt the entire U.S. economy. Chris Van Cleve is here with the latest. Chris, good morning.
Well, good morning. There was some progress late yesterday that may have brought the two sides closer to a deal after months of stalled talks, but not close enough to avoid the first strike of East Coast ports in 47 years. It will impact nearly half of the nation's imports and more than 2/3 of containerized exports as dock workers strike at 14 ports spanning from Boston to East Coast ports in 47 years.
43% of the nation imports come from the ports that are over here. 43. So basically half of America's imports are on strike right now. Think about that. That's why I was telling you guys, if you need to, go get your gas, go get your supplies, because also with the hurricane, if you're in the southeast region, I know you guys, you're going through your recovery. Hopefully you guys are safe down there, but it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Now, we were talking, I primarily talk about TV shows, and with the writer strike, we were talking about, oh, the writers, the actors, they're not working. Some of them were millionaires. These are hard everyday workers like you and I. And the difference is, if TV stops, guess what? We still live lives. But when the ports stop, we can't live lives. We depend on these people. And right now, 25,000 of them aren't working. Now, we'll go into it when they talk about the president could put them back to work for like 90 days at least. But who's going to do work? You know what I mean? If they send you back to work for 90 days when you know you're going to go back onto a strike, you're not going to be doing anything at work but collecting a check. Like, the hell with this. But what's going on right now, if you remember back during the pandemic, when the trucking company, well, not the trucking company, but when Florida, they always talk about the immigrants and everything. But you remember down in Florida where they told the immigrants, if you're an illegal immigrant, you can't drive the trucks. And guess what happened down in Florida? Florida shut down. Yeah, those illegals, they're doing these jobs that a lot of motherfuckers don't want to do. I know they're taking jobs. Well, won't you go get out in that field and go goddamn collect some damn fruit all damn day? But when DeSantis did that, where if you were an illegal or you didn't have a license, they stopped all the trucks. You know how much money they were losing? Upwards to $100 million a day. So imagine what 50% of America's economy is going to do with these ports being shut down. It's crazy. America depends on the illegals more than you think we do.
It will impact nearly half of the nation's imports and more than 2/3 of containerized exports.
This also means businesses, they're going to start going bad because what? Can't send nothing out. Almost 70%.
Dock workers strike at 14 ports spanning from Boston to Houston. For days leading up to the midnight deadline, crews were working virtually around the clock to move billions in cargo off ships and out of ports by truck and rail. Businesses have also been stocking up on additional inventory in anticipation of a strike. The International Longshoremen Association, the union representing dock workers, is seeking higher pay and protections against automation replacing workers. According to one estimate, the strike could cost the economy up to $5 billion a day, and economists worry a long strike will disrupt the supply chain for everything from perishable foods to car parts and construction materials. The group representing shippers and ports says its current offer would mean a nearly 50% pay hike as well as improved health and retirement. The Longshoremen's Union says that offer is still far short of what its members are seeking.
One day, and I think it's JP, is it JP Morgan or they combine as JP Chase? Anyway, I think it's JP, the bank that's actually estimated that it's going to be $5 billion a day every day that they're on strike. 5 billion, 10 billion. What's after 10 billion? Oh, I think that's 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 80, 90, 99, 95, 100, 105, 110. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Jeesh. Well, it's just $5 billion a day. We're America. We can handle that. We can handle that. But they are trying to get rid of automation.
Tony, keep
like you said, I don't know how we can protect against automation. Automation, it speeds up the process. Automation also eliminates some safety hazards. I mean, there's still risk and dangers of it, but it can be more efficient. It's just going to be less people that work it. I mean, unfortunately, that's the route that we're going in. So I mean, I don't know how you can get around that. Yeah, $5 billion a day, man. Thousands of dock workers at ports from New England to Texas went on strike just after midnight on Tuesday as they rally for higher pay and more job security. The work stoppage is the first one on the East and Gulf Coast since 1977, follows a lengthy impasse in labor talks between the International Longshoremen Association, ILA, and the United States Maritime Alliance, USMX, a shipping industry group representing terminal operators and ocean carriers. Is expected to involve 25,000 workers, 14 ports: Boston, Baltimore, Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Miami, Houston, Mobile, New Orleans, New York, New Jersey. Oh, this is bad right here. New York, New Jersey. So if you didn't know, when you mail ground mail overseas, ground mail goes on a boat. So if you ever like mailing something to somebody overseas and you see it went to New Jersey, that means they're putting it on a boat and they're going to ship it over here. So it's going to take about 30 days for your mail to get here. Now, if you want to send mail overseas if you do it international, it's going to have to go onto the boat anyway. But if you're sending it to like a base or something, the APO, like if you were to mail me something, do it priority so they can fly it over here and it won't be in the mail for so long. That's just, saying some postal. Norfolk, Virginia, Philadelphia, Savannah. Savannah is like the biggest port. I know Savannah and Baltimore, Tampa, and Wilmington, Delaware. USMX brought on this strike when they decided to hold firm to foreign-owned ocean carriers earn billions of dollars of profits at the United States ports, but not compensate the American ILA longshore workers who perform the labor that brings their wealth. ILA President Harold Daggett said in the statement posted on social media, "We are prepared to fight as long as necessary to stay out on strike for whatever period of time it takes to get the wages and protections against automation our ILA members deserve." Sheesh. No. If you send mail priority or express, they put that on the plane. But if you just sending it ground mail, they put it on the ship. So one thing you'll notice, anything like when you send anything to a military base, you can only send USPS. So if you order from a company, say FedEx or UPS, what they do is they send it off. And once it gets to either Chicago or wherever their main processing center is, they'll have to change it, convert it over, send you, the consumer, a new tracking number. And then more than likely, UPS, they're cheap. So they send it ground mail. They're not going to send it priority. So they'll send it to Jersey, and Jersey will put it on the ship. Now, these ships don't leave until the shipping containers are completely full, meaning you might have 2 or 3 shipping containers full of mail, but then you might have something with other kind of products on the ship, and they wait till the whole ship is full before they send it out. So your mail might be sitting in Jersey for a month, 6 weeks. You never really know. So people used to come into the post office. I had to come up front, like, "What you need?" "Oh, we're looking for this package." I'm like, okay, what does it say on your tracking?" "Well, it says it's in Jersey." "Oh, well, you ain't gonna get that for about a month and a half, brother. But this is really gonna put things behind. All right, here we go. The ILA is demanding sizable wages, sizable wage hikes, and a complete ban on the use of automated cranes. Damn, so they want the real deal. They said no automated cranes. We got to get out there and do it. And a complete ban on automated cranes, gates, and container moving trucks in unloading and loading freight. Members of the union make a base salary of about $81,000 per year, but some can pull in over $200,000 annually, with large amounts of over. Geesh. Okay, so they make about 81,000. So that's the median, 200 annually with overtime. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. They want more money too. I hope they just give them people their money, because I'm in Philly and I'm not in the mood to be fighting over toilet paper and ish. I mean, Do we have toilet paper made in the States? Let's see. The union said it shut down all ports from Maine to Texas as tens of thousands of ILA rank and file members began setting up picket lines at waterfront facilities up and down the Atlantic and Gulf Coast. After the last USMX offer fell short of what ILA rank and file members are demanding in wages and protections against automation. The Port of New York and Jersey quickly said it was closing numerous facilities Tuesday due to the strike. The Port of Virginia did the same. Workers began picketing at the Port of Philadelphia shortly after midnight, walking in a circle at the rail crossing outside the port while chanting, "No work without a fair contract. No work without a fair contract, you motherfucker," the Associated Press reported, adding that the ILA had message boards on the side of trucks saying, "Automation hurts families." ILA stands for job protection. Now, the thing, it's always a reoccurring thing. They've been talking about this for months. Like, hey, man, we're going to go on strike if y'all don't give us this money, man. That fiscal year is going to hit. Hey, y'all making billions of dollars. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. President Joe Biden, a close ally of organized labor, has so far declined to directly intervene, citing the need of respect collective bargaining rights. I mean, that's true. Of course, he'll step in eventually once, well, shit, for him, he don't care. He only got like 2 months left. But yeah, I mean, it's a collective bargaining rights. They got to at least go through it before someone can actually intervene. Now, they've had this on the table for a while. If it does start hindering America, then yeah, then you definitely got to step in. But as of right now, it's just like, man, you got to let them deal with this on their own. The National Association of Manufacturers urged Biden to invoke his authority under national security laws to order workers back to the ports as bargaining continues. See, this is what I was talking about. Now, the president can order this, but again, how much work is really going to get done? Look at it like this. You guys are going on strike because you want more money. Now, during the pandemic, the port workers, they were there. You know why everybody else was working from home? Who kept America running? The port workers. They didn't get to work from home. It wasn't, hey, today we're going to have a limited work crew here. Instead of 100 people, we're going to do 35 and we're going to rotate. No, these people were out there working during the pandemic. It wasn't no working from home. They had to stay out there or America, the lights are off. And, you know, they always talking about how the economy is now. Well, you got to blame the person that was in office when all of this happened, because the person that was in office when all of this happened knew that there was a potential virus out there, but said it was fake and failed to shut the borders down in time where we could actually prepare for this. But no one remembers that part. They just remember how the economy was once the new president got in office and actually dug us up out of there and gave America the best recovery in the world, along with the highest GDP. But no one ever speaks on facts. They just talk about what they want to hear. Now, when it comes to this, imagine you're going on strike because you want more pay. You're going on strike because they're bringing in robots to do your job. The president invokes you to get your ass back to work. Well, one, the president isn't going to do that if they're smart, because the president is for the people. But two, if you tell me I got to go to work for 90 days and then I got to go back on strike because y'all not going to pay us what we want, how much work do you think I'm going to do while I'm at work? Zero. I'm going to work and collecting my check, and I'm not doing a damn thing. We here for 90 days. You can't fire me. The president invoked this. We just here. What you think they going to be doing at work? Collecting a check? What up, Jacoby? I'm just saying, you got to look at it from that perspective. The president can protect manufacturers and consumers by exercising his authority, and we hope he will act quickly, Jay Timmons, CEO of the Trading Associations, said in a statement. The president and vice president are monitoring potential supply chain impacts. That's what I was saying. If it starts affecting America too bad, then it's like, hey, man, y'all might have to go to work. The White House said in a statement on Tuesday, the president and vice president were briefed on agency assignments that show impact. Consumers are expected to be limited limited at this time, including the import areas of fuel, food, and medicine. I told you guys Sunday, make sure you fill up all your vehicles because it could get ugly. Now, remember, this is just on the East Coast, but this is 70% of America's exports, 43% of America's imports. So almost half of America's imports. So that means the Midwest, up north, this is going to affect you too. The Teamsters Union called on Biden administration to stay out of the labor dispute and let workers withhold their labor for the wages and benefits they have earned. See, the workers don't want you to call. They don't want you to tell us to go back to work. Yeah, Jacoby, this is going to affect New Orleans. You weren't in here when we first started, but yeah, New Orleans is actually right here. 25,000 workers. They shut down. Well, they haven't officially shut down in New Orleans yet, but this article is from earlier today. But yeah, New Orleans is affected from Texas all the way up to Maine. The strike comes on the heels of the walkout the U.S. automakers and Boeing, amongst others. Now, you know, on my channel, we talked about the automakers, we talked about Boeing, we talked about the cleaning services in Vegas going on strikes. We talked about, of course, you know, the writer strike. So it's just a lot. Potential impact on consumers and the economy. The ports affected by the strike handle roughly half of the country's ship cargo. Experts say the economic impact of a prolonged work stoppage could be steep, potentially raising the cost of consumer goods and creating shortages ahead of the holidays. A one-week strike could cost the U.S. economy nearly $3.8 billion and increase the cost of consumer goods, according to the conference board. Now, that's what the conference board said. Let's go see what. Now, this is what the conference board is saying. They're saying 1 week is $3.8 billion. But JP Morgan is saying it's estimated that a strike shutdown on the Eastern Gulf Coast could cost the economy $3.8 billion to $4.5 billion a day, not a week, a day, with some of that recovered over time after normal operations resume. So roughly you're looking at maybe $5 billion a day, according to JP Morgan. If we're going to be modest, we could just say, we'll just say 4 billion. We'll take, we'll take the average. $4 billion a day, which means the cost of your consumer goods are going to go up. So you already complain about stuff, but you got to remember, you can't look at the president and say, hey, man, the president's in office, the price of groceries is going up. No, there's other things that affect this. We're looking at all your fruits. Oh, the big thing is this: bananas. Expect shortages of bananas, booze, chocolate, cherries if there's a long port strike. It's bananas. Longshoremen strike could strand 100,000 containers of cargo in New York. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the president. There's other factors that make goods go up. Gas is going to go up because there's not going to be as much gas. So we got to charge more for the gas. It's just little stuff like that, but we'll get into it, and we'll let one of the experts tell us what exactly is going on. Shipments diverted to the West Coast and then placed on freight networks to ship east could add at least a week of transit time and additional costs. And that's because if, let's say they're in New York, in order to get over to, let's say, the San Diego port, you'd have to go all the way down through the Panama Canal, come back up. That could add another week. San Diego to start getting over full, you got to start going up to LA. You got to start going up to San Francisco. You go over to the Oakland one. Shipments diverted to the West Coast and then placed on freight networks to ship east could add at least 1 week of transit time and additional costs. Bush securities analyst said in a note to investors, we see a potential for ripple effects ripple effects, even for those with limited exposure to shipments originally bound for the East Coast and Gulf Coast to the West Coast ports, likely to lack the capacity to fully absorb disruptive volume. See, man. Consumers in business, longer strike could hamper shipments such as bananas, manufacturing components, plywoods, raw materials such as cotton and copper, fresh meat and other refrigerated foods also could spoil, resulting in shortages and increased prices. Now, you think a lot of our fruit and stuff comes from the United States, like how they said, like the meat, your beef and stuff, but a lot of the beef comes from South America. I forgot which country it is. I think it's either Argentina or Chile. Which Latin American country? Jeez. Brazil and I think like Argentina. They got the most cows, and a lot of the beef does come from down there. So all of that's going to be stopped. Fresh meat and refrigerated foods could spoil, resulting in shortages and increased prices. But of course, hey, the president, man, the price of groceries are growing. No, you need to go tell the people at the ports to pay them people.
Now I got it.
Oh, okay, we'll skip this one. Damn, how long is it? Okay, we almost at the end. I'm gonna say I got a video we need to watch. Still, many retailers and other businesses have been preparing for months, stockpiling product that could be disrupted by the port shutdowns. Good for the holiday season, typically shipped between August and October, Rebush said. With that said, we believe that most holiday-heavy retailers adjusted their schedules in anticipation of a labor disruption, limiting some near-term downside risk in our view. Soon after the walkout began, New York Governor Kathy Hochul issued a statement saying her administration has been working around the clock to ensure that our grocery stores and medical facilities have the essential products they need. It's crucial for USMX and the ILA to reach a fair agreement soon that respects workers and ensures a flow of commerce through our ports. In the meantime, we will continue our efforts to minimize disruption for New York workers. They said they don't expect any shortages, but we're going to see about that. All right. So what we have now, I have a video of, let me see. I have a video of a guy that works with the East and Gulf Coast Longshoremen's Union. So he's going to break down what exactly is going on during this and what they're projected to do. Now, of course, they're not going to lay out all their cards so that the ports will know what they're doing, but he's going to break down what the union's perspective is of this whole situation. Make sure I hit that like button for me. Let me see.
In today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you.
On today's episode of What's Going On with Shipping, will the ILA strike on October 1st? I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano. Welcome to today's episode. And you just heard Harold Daggett, the president of the International Longshoremen Association, in what is entitled A Candid Conversation. I cannot imagine an uncandid conversation with Harold Daggett, but that's the candid one, where President Daggett talked about whether or not his men will go, and women will go on strike on October 1st. And if I'm a betting person, I think that's a person who is committed to either getting what he wants, or we can expect to see ports along the east and Gulf Coast of the United States shut down on October 1st. What does that mean going forward, and what are the chances of that? We're going to talk about it in today's episode. If you're new to the channel, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you'll be alerted about new videos as they come out.
And pay taxes. They want to get rid of them. Where's the president of the United States? He's not fighting for us. He told in LA, he told the union, hurry up and get a contract. That's the mentality they have. They don't even know what the hell they're doing today. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to save everybody's job when it comes to the ILA and to all the unions around the world, because we're going to fight with that alliance. I'll shut them down throughout the world to prove that we can beat them.
A little more.
See, so he's part of the union, and he's saying, listen, if we don't get paid, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the West Coast Union, talk to them, shut the West Coast Union down. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to go overseas, and we're going to start talking to the other ports and tell them the same thing. Y'all deserve more money because they are raking in billions and billions of dollars. And if this starts to happen, other countries are going to start looking at America like, hey, before this shit gets to us, y'all need to handle y'all situation. Now, of course, there's no other country in the world that's going to put pressure on America and tell us what to do. But there's still going to be that pressure. Like, hey, man, what are y'all doing over there? Y'all need to come up to it with a resolution. And then that's where the president had to step in. But right now, with what is said from the White House, they're trying to let the Collective Bargaining Act handle this. Now, when you heard him mentioning the president, he was talking about the president of the docks, not the actual president of the freaking United States.
That candid conversation there by Harold Daggett, the president of the ILA. Container shipping lines fear port strike will paralyze half of U.S. trade. This is a Bloomberg story over in G-Captain. If you start looking at the stats, it is pretty mind-boggling. This is from Mediterranean Shipping Company, who put out a customer alert. They're saying that this may not be resolved by September 30th deadline. That would delay the shipment of containers, both imports and exports, on trucks and railroads through ports from...
All right, we covered that already. Let me see if he gets back to the Presidente. Oh, okay. I like that. Let me see this. I didn't know they had these numbers on here.
What is happening here? The potential impact of an international longshoremen strike.
Look, July 2024. They've been talking about this for a month. They even put together a pamphlet saying, look, this is what will happen if we go on strike. This is what will happen. And this was what, 2 months ago?
We'll have this available for you to take a look at in full detail. You can break it apart. But I want to highlight just a couple of issues that they make here. This is a look at the imports and exports in terms of value on the East and Gulf Coast of the U.S. At the bottom, you see the value in billions of dollars. And then the colors, the percentage, is how much of that comes in through the East Coast. So, for example, in terms of imports, if you look at the top ones, we're looking at pig iron, alloy steel, natural rubber, iron ore, tin, cocoa beans, ferrous products.
Pig iron is 98% of it comes through the Gulf Coast and the East Coast. Natural rubber, because that comes from down like Costa Rica. Costa Rica and all the Latin American countries. So 97% comes from there. Cocoa beans, 93%. That means you ain't gonna be able to get no damn coffee. Fertilizers, glass, it comes a little bit from the east. Damn.
And a whole batch of chemicals coming in. But overwhelmingly, you're talking about over 90% of those are coming in. If you look at the exports going out, fuels, mineral oil, machinery, mechanical, electrical machinery, vehicles, aircraft, opticals, photographic, pharmaceuticals, plastics, all of these are large percentages going out, except for aircraft, which is about 18%, optical 16%. But a lot of this is coming out of the East Coast, Gulf Coast ports. This is what we're going to see. Notice what you don't see here are things like food and other commodities, even though you're going to hear about bananas and a lot of other commodities. So one of the big fears that this is going to do is force shipments to come into the United States via other methods, either by Europe routing through the Panama Canal and coming to the West Coast, or potentially coming into Canadian and Mexican ports and coming in on rail. Now, not every port has an ILA presence along the East and Gulf Coast, but it's going to be very difficult to get ships in and out of ports in the U.S. East Coast unless they can make it to all the required ports. This chart gives you the top 10 ports as determined by ILA presence with the total
Now, what I want to point out on this map is, as you can see, if they're coming from Europe, they'd have to go down here through Panama. Now, I don't know if you guys remember back what was it, 2 years? Where that, so that just, all right. What I'm trying to get at with the Panama Canal being them rerouting, trying to go around to Los Angeles, San Diego, or up the West Coast, that's going to make it congested down there. And with that happening, there's a potential for shipwrecks. And if you remember what was going on over in Africa, in the Middle East, when that port got messed up because that ship got stuck and it was tearing up like 10, $15 billion a day, the potential could happen down here on top of the $4 to $5 billion that we're losing daily. Now, I'm going to try to bring that up while he continues to talk. But I thought this was going to be more of the president.
To get ships in and out of ports in the U.S. East Coast unless they can make it to all the required ports. This chart gives you the top 10 ports as determined by ILA presence with the total imports and exports. So, for example, when you're looking at New York, New Jersey, you're looking at imports of somewhere in the range of $232 billion. And that's 7.5% of U.S. value of petroleum. In terms of exports, it's vehicles. In Houston, it's petroleum. In New Orleans, it's returned exports and aircraft. Savannah, vehicle parts and vehicles. And you can just see there the amount of goods that are coming in and out of U.S. ports. And to give you a snapshot of just a single port, this is...
All right, man, he's going to, oh, here. All right, we're back at the president. I say, man, he's getting too technical. We don't need all of that. That's something I look into.
But today's world, it's changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions. And they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men. Because when they made their most money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work. Not my men. They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going. From Canada to Maine to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas, everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that. I'm not asking for the world. They know what I want. They know what I want. And if they don't, no, then I have to go into the street and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier?
See, this is what I was reading. I was reading up on this earlier today. And then when I seen this, I was like, oh, let me bring that up. But like right now, we're all just looking at it. Dang, Mo, thanks for informing us on this. But when I seen it on Sunday, I said, oh, this shit gonna get ugly. Because you know when they go on strike, they're not about to end. Well, let's have wishful thinking. Hopefully they settle this by like the end of the week. But if we know a strike, this could be 2-3 months. But when I seen this Sunday, I posted it in the Discord. I was like, man, this is something you're gonna have to look out for. And this guy, he's standing on business. He already told you this is, hey, we shutting the shit down. He said, I don't give a damn what y'all talk about. We don't get compensated. We shutting it down. And they know what I want. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to find the article. What he wants is the highest paid people are making, I think they said $39 an hour. Over 6 years, basically starting from like 2020 to where we are now. Technically, over 6 years, They want a $5 increase per hour every year for 6 years. So it'll take you from $39 to $69. So if you work there for 6 years, you'll get a $30 increase over those next 6 years. Now that's an incentive to stay there and work. But think about it. You making 39, then what is 44, 49, 54, 59, 64. Then you get that last year. Now you had $69 an hour in 6 years. So what did that take us to 2030? Damn, I ain't gonna lie, that sounds lovely. Now I don't know what they do out there on the ports, but that sounds lovely.
It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down.
You hear that? He's saying the longer it's going to take, instead of going from 39 to 69, he said, we'll wait this shit out. It'll go from $39 an hour to $80 an hour.
Job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. In today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
Oh, well, shoot. There you go. The president talking his talk. Keno said, what's the cost of living, though? Man, it don't matter where you live at in America. If you making $69 an hour, you are good to go. There's nowhere you can live. There's nowhere you can't live. Well, I mean, of course, you go to like the Hamptons or you going up into like Beverly Hills. But these people working at the ports, they not living out there. But shit, he talking about if they go up, let's just say if they go up to, what is it? If he said they could go up to 80, let's just say you work a regular 40-hour work week. 80, 6,400. What's that? 12,800 a month. 12,800 a month. Shit, 80 an hour. That don't sound too bad. I think I can make a living. I can make an honest living off of 12,800. Yeah, I think. What y'all think? 12,800. That's good. That's a good monthly. You know what I'm saying? Good monthly. That's good. Or I'm talking. But that ain't gonna be gross. But that'll be gross. But you know what I'm saying? It ain't net. Y'all think 80 is comfortable? 80 is comfortable. I don't make nowhere near no 80 an hour. I probably make I don't make nowhere near no 80 an hour. Maybe a little under half. But hell no, I know 80 an hour. You give me 80 an hour, man. I'm showing up to work on time. I'm actually gonna come to where I'm gonna have a haircut every week. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut this shit off my head. 80 an hour, I'll be there on time. Let me see something. Yeah, because 80 an hour is what? Every 2 weeks, 6,400. Yeah, 8064. Yeah, it's about 6,400. They have one of the most crucial essential jobs out there. See, I want to know what they do for 39 an hour. Like, are you out there? Because they said, well, I guess if you're a machine operator, like if you worked at cranes, you probably get paid more. That would be interesting to see. Let me see something. Let me see. All right. Wrong way. The port strike. Let me see. So we have it got a little violent out there today in Baltimore, man. I think somebody got hit with like a trash can or something, or it was a trash truck driver. Oh, he's the hauler. Okay, here we go.
We start the top of the hour this morning with a Fox 5 News alert. Thousands of dock workers are on strike, causing ports across the U.S. to close.
Yeah, in total, 36 ports shutting down, including the port of Baltimore. Melanie Allenwick is there right now live, and she appears to be telling us since this morning that it's been heating up there, and it hasn't been a pleasant sight for many folks, especially the drivers coming in.
That's right. So for some people, I think it might have been a bit of a surprise. However, this has been in the news that it could be happening for a few weeks now. So you can see the picket lines behind me here. And this is the main entrance to the Port of Baltimore, the Dundalk Terminal. And you'll see they're walking around the picket lines in circles. Now, Baltimore police were here earlier reminding the picketers that they cannot block the entrance to the port. The longshoremen walked off the job at 12:01 a.m. There was confusion and anger as picketers initially tried to stop trucks from entering, and it did turn violent.
I come here for 7 years. I pull the trash and the debris out of here for the Port of Baltimore, and the officer told me to come back and make go in there to get out of my way, and they attacked me and broke the windshield and serrated my face. Look at it.
He said, look at it. Hey, man. Hey, I know y'all on strike out there, man. You know, I want y'all to get y'all money, but calm y'all ass down, man. Y'all over here whooping on the trash truck driver who's just trying to get his job done. Y'all ain't working on the executives that ain't paying y'all. Don't be doing that wild shit, man. Everybody always tough with the people they don't need to be tough with. They ain't paying y'all. Y'all ain't going in there whooping their ass. So don't whoop the trash truck driver. You're probably, hey, man, get out the way so I can get the trash. They didn't attack this man. This man on the news talking about, look at it. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Whoever that was, the union needs to sit them down and tell them, listen, when we get that raise, you ain't getting $1 out of it. You will keep your pay.
Now, we don't know exactly what happened. The union members said the truck hit one of the picketers as they swarmed around it. We did see an ambulance.
Is this them swarming around them now? So they said he hit one of the picketers while they surrounded the truck. Why were y'all surrounding the truck? He's probably like, get out the way, nigger.
As they swarmed around it, we did see an ambulance come to assist, and we know that
Hey, look at this dude over here. I ain't even see this dude over here getting crunk, ain't he? Hey, look at the right side of your screen. This is a nigga acting a fool.
We did see an ambulance come to assist, and we know that that gentleman did speak with police officers. Again, we'll let the authorities sort out exactly what happened there. Now, 45 members of the International Longshoremen's Association, 45,000 members. That's a big difference in a number, isn't it? They have all been asking for a 77% pay increase over 6 years and a ban on automation at their ports, a threat to their jobs, they say. Now, most retailers stocked up on goods prior to the strike, but if it lasts more than a few weeks, supply chain experts say it's consumers who are going to feel the direct impact of higher prices and product shortages, especially for things like fresh fruit, coffee, and cars. The U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents the ports, said it offered 50% pay increases and an agreement to keep current limits on automation, in addition to increased contributions to the retirement plans. But apparently that was not acceptable to the union members. We don't know what the next steps are in terms of the negotiations. Now, we do want to let you know that West Coast ports do remain open. They are a different union and working under a different contract, and many supply chain leaders have rerouted some of their goods and supplies. But on the East Coast, it's going to have to be a wait and see situation as to how directly everyone is impacted. I want to let you know that, again, we are going to try to get an interview with one of the local union leaders here as soon as we sign off. And if we get anything from their point of view, we'll be sure to bring it to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mel. Certainly a lot going on out there this morning.
All right, so they offered them a 50% pay increase, But they said we want a 77%. Sheesh. I mean, I'm with them. I'm with them. Get your money. Get your money. Let me see. What CNN got going on over here? Poor workers strike across the East and Gulf Coast. Okay, let me see. This is what it looks like up in Jersey. Let's see if they getting rowdy. Dock workers at ports on East and Gulf Coast on strike.
Dock workers at American ports from New England to Texas are on strike. Members of the International Longshoremen Association are picketing 14 major ports in the US East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico too. Last-minute efforts to reach an agreement with ship operators and port authorities came to nothing. The employers have offered a contract that would raise wages by 50% over the next 6 years. The union says that's unacceptable. It's the first strike at the East Coast ports. Vanessa Yurkovich is in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and we should clarify exactly how much impact.
Let me ask y'all this real quick. All right, they're asking for 77, and they said 50%. What would be a number you guys would be good with? I think 50% over 6 years. I probably have been. I mean, of course, I'm sitting at the table like, nah, because if y'all do 50%, then it definitely can't be any automation ever. But if we can do, let's just say 65% increase over 6 years, no automation, we can get this settled right now, man. Y'all can meet us at 65. I'd be good with 65. Don't get me wrong, I'd be good with a 50%, but shit, they reaching for that 77. The only thing is that 77, they're gonna be doing you bad when you get to work, though. I could definitely do 65% increase 6 years. So instead of 5, it'll be what? Because they want to do 5, so it'll put us what, maybe 375 a year raise. That's cool. That ain't bad. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'd even take 60%. Like we went in there, we were negotiating, they talking about 50, and we want 77. If they're like, we could do, I'm like, look, 65, they say 60, 62.5. 60. All right, we'll do 60. I think we good with 60, man. We good with 60.
This would have to the US economy and economies in other countries.
It's going to have a significant impact. Out here today, we have hundreds of union members who have been out since the very early morning. Behind me, you can kind of just see the port of New York and New Jersey. It's idle right now because you don't have these dock workers working to load and offload imports and exports that come into this area. And as you mentioned, this is going to have a huge economic impact. One estimate puts a 1-week strike at over $2 billion. And just into this port alone, imports consist of alcohol, cherries, fruits, furniture, and exports, auto parts, and other items that our foreign counterparts buy. But that's all at a halt right now because the union, the ILA, and USMX failed to reach a deal yesterday. On the table was an offer from USMX of 50% in wage increases over 6 years, but the union saying that is not good enough. Also of note, retailers saw this coming, and a lot of them brought in a lot of their holiday products early because they didn't want a strike to interrupt shipping. So for holiday shoppers out there, you can rest easy that there will be things on the shelves around the holiday shopping season. Now, the administration, the Biden administration, is really...
It's going to be stuff on the shelves, all right, but that shit about to be marked up, though. Just think, if this strike lasts till October, well, of course it's October now. If this lasts till November 1st, oh man, the price of products about to be skyrocket. Black Friday ain't gonna be a Black Friday. That shit gonna be a normal Friday. You'll be trying to go in there and get you a deal on the TV. Man, they said this TV was $250. Yeah, we had to mark it up back to $650. It ain't no Black Friday. It's Black regular.
the only power to stop a strike. President Biden could enact something called the Hartley Act and Taft-Hartley Act, and that would essentially end a strike. However, President Biden is saying he's not planning to get involved, despite major business groups like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce calling on him to do so. I briefly spoke with the president of the ILA union moments ago, and he told me that in order to get back to the negotiating table with the shipping alliance, all of his demands need to be met, Max. But as you know, this is a negotiation. It doesn't look like the shippers are going to meet the union exactly where they want to be, but the shippers saying they want to get back to the table, just not under those circumstances.
Damn. So the president said, it ain't no negotiating, nigga. When we come to the table, we want the 77%. We want the motherfucking money that goes into our retirement and no automation. Nigga, it ain't no negotiating, nigga. We gonna shut this shit down. Damn, he ain't playing around. That's the kind of union rep you need now. It could hurt you in the long run, but if he can get you a 77% increase, also get you, I think they said they're gonna match more on your 401k. You got to stand in solidarity with him. We got to lock arms. We got to lock arms with this one. I'm not, hey, if he said this is what we getting, I'm out there. I don't do none of that striking, none of that protesting. I don't do none of that shit because you're setting yourself up to be a target. But, oh, he talking about we getting that 77%. I'm out there with the book. We gonna figure this out. We gonna figure this out. No taxation without representation. No taxation without representation. Fuck that. 77% shit. I'm out that motherfucker. And they said right now they do overtime. They work regular overtime. They get 200,000. We get a 77% increase. That means we'll be making about $480,000. Sheesh. Man, I'd be working every day. My wife be talking about, Mo, you gonna come home? I got a job. Yeah, I ain't got time to be at home with you and these nagging ass kids. I'm going to work. I'm going to work, and I'm so glad we got a prenup. Cause don't you even think you're gonna leave me and take half of what I'm making. I'm making $553,000 a year working at the ports. Hey. Y'all better keep it down when I come home. You know what I mean? Do I think a purge-like event can come from this? I mean, if they had a purge, what would that fix? The only thing that would happen with a purge is the workers would go after the higher ups and force them to, you know what I'm saying? They would like get rid of them. But then if they did that, once the purge is over, then what? You back at work with no job and you didn't unalive people. So it's like, when we ain't fucking with y'all, the purge ain't gonna do like. I mean, unless you got like some blackmailing over somebody. But if it's a purge, then what? That means everyone's gonna rob the stores. They're gonna take all the goods, all the food. They're gonna take all the TVs and stuff. So then the day that the purge is over with, when we wake up in the morning, you're gonna go down there to that store, and people are already complaining. Man, a gallon of milk is like $7. That gallon of milk is gonna be $30. So a purge ain't gonna do nothing but just get you to get your frustration off. The purge will come from the people not getting what they need. I mean, when you say that, who are they purging against? Like, who are they taking out? Who were the regular civilians taking out though? Because it's still not a win-win. Because let's just say, okay, if there is a purge and they go after the workers, okay, if we purge the workers, now when we do come to a deal, we don't have enough workers. So now we're stuff just sitting on the dock, still spoiling, still taking forever to get to where. So it wouldn't like a purge only works in movies. In real life, when you really think about it, a purge won't do anything but hurt everybody. Because if you go after the workers, now we don't have enough workers. Now the workers, they gonna be like, man, y'all were targeting us because we wanted our rightful pay. But when y'all was on the strike, the automakers, when the cleaning services were on strike, when the writers were on strike, we didn't come purge none of y'all. We wanted to watch TV, but y'all niggas, y'all was on strike. We wanted to get new cars, but y'all niggas was on strike. You know what I mean? We wanted to go to the hotels out in Vegas, but y'all niggas was on strike. You see what I mean? So it's just gonna be everyone against each other. It'll never work. You know what I mean? Like, hey, when the truckers went on strike, like, oh, hey, y'all get back in them trucks. Man, nigga, fuck you. Get back in the dock. Yeah, I mean, we seen what panic mode did during the pandemic. Niggas was fighting over toilet paper. Toilet paper and paper towel. I never understood why niggas was fighting over toilet paper. You ain't wiping your ass that much. Luckily for me, I keep a month and 12 pack of toilet paper at the crib. As soon as I get down to 6, I go buy another one. I keep it at the house. So I was good. I made it the first 2 years. Well, not the first 2 years, the first year and a half off all the toilet paper I already had at the crib. But man, they can go into panic mode all they want. They ain't gonna do nothing but get their ass whooped. We seen they went in panic mode January 6th, and it didn't go any further than there. I mean, we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's just the only thing that's going to happen. Just that the price of goods are going to go up. You'll see people making TikToks complaining about stuff, but in the end, it'll balance itself out because the workers eventually going to be like, man, we need to get paid something. So it's like, all right, man, they can't meet that 77%. Man, can you see if they're gonna do 60, 65? Like, we good with 60, you know, we were aiming for 70. But if you can get us 60%, 65%, no automation, yeah, we could do that. We can do that. We'll get back to work. Let me see. So it says nearly 50,000 members are on strike starting on Tuesday. It began at midnight. It could also stop U.S. exports flowing through those ports. Oh, okay, so Biden just released something. He's urging them to come back to the table. Now, they have months to go over this, but you know, everybody waits to the last minute. President Biden issued a strong call for the International Longshoremen Association, managing the ports of the Eastern Gulf Coast to reach an agreement and get workers back to the job after a strike began at midnight. Biden pointed out the impacts of the hurricane among the critical reasons to resolve the matter. I was going to talk about the hurricane. We already had an hour because the hurricane is affecting a lot, man. That damage that is done. Sheesh. As our nation climbs out of the aftermath of the hurricane, dock workers will play an essential role. They will play an essential role in getting communities and the resources they need. Now is not the time for ocean carriers to refuse to negotiate a fair wage for these essential workers while ranking in the record profits. He said, warning that his administration will be monitoring for any price gouging activity that benefits foreign ocean carriers. Okay, at least they watching that. You know what I mean? Now, if you remember, old Donald was talking about, man, we're going to put tariffs on everybody, not knowing the higher the tariffs are on all these other countries, you know, all right. So we put tariffs on other countries and basically we just tax them. Hey, y'all importing stuff. Well, y'all exporting stuff to us. We're going to tax you for that. Boom. We're going to put 100% increase on all the taxes that we hit you with now. Now, when you do that, these companies are going to say, well, if you're going to tax us 100% more, so instead of paying $100, we got to pay $200. We just going to make the back end. We got to charge all of the companies that are using us. We got to make up for that $100% increase, meaning all of the products are now going to go up. Now, when the products get here to the States, yeah, it looks good because we're making money, but the consumers, we're paying more because you tax them, and in return, they got to up their prices to make up for the taxes. So it's just, That's why when I hear inflation, like there's always going to be inflation. No matter what, there's always going to be inflation. Nothing costs the same that it costs when you was a kid. Nothing. The dollar store ain't even a dollar store no more. That shit $2 now. Jeez. This ain't really talking about that. I'm trying to see if they got another video. But just to give you a perspective of how this could play out, this is what I was talking about. Back in 2021 in the Suez Canal, you remember there was a ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal and they had to reroute stuff and there were ships out there just waiting. They said that this was equivalent to $400 million worth of trade per hour or $6.7 million a minute. Now, since the Japanese-owned ship blocked the narrow canal for 6 days, the total trade loss was estimated at a roughly $54 billion. That was for 1 week. Now, J.P. Morgan and Chase says it's going to be roughly $5 billion a day, $35 billion a week. Now, I ain't good with math, but that sounds like $140 billion in a month. And this was just 1 week, which was roughly $54 billion that they lost. Now, that's only loss on like, the reason this is lower is because this was more of like your perishable goods and things of that nature. So, I mean, of course, you're losing your regular money. But with us, that means nothing's coming in. At least with them, they were rerouting stuff. And we don't have enough. We don't have the capacity to reroute everything over to California. That means we got to go, what they say, go down to Mexico, go up to Canada. But I think Montreal, look, yesterday up in Montreal, dock workers at Port Montreal launched a 72-hour strike. So Montreal went on strike yesterday. We went on strike today. Well, I say we, America. So it's getting ugly, man. You're not going to be able to reroute up to Canada. Now, Mexico. You know, you hear everybody, they were talking about, damn, man, look, we're not paying to watch this shit. Now, let's see what Mexico says if they talk about, hey, Mexico, can we reroute to you guys as ports and then take trucks from Mexico up to the United States? Let's see what Mexico does. Because I could have sworn Americans, they didn't really like Mexico. You know, all those illegals down there, they didn't like Mexico. So let's see what Mexico does. Oh, I thought y'all wanted us, y'all were trying to get us to build a wall. Mexico has the leverage here. They like, oh, no. Anything y'all got coming over here to Mexico, we gonna hit you mofos, even though there's open borders between Mexico and Canada and the United States. They got the upper hand, like, oh, no, that's gonna mess up our economy because now we got to reroute our stuff. We got to accommodate you guys as ships. We gonna need some money. Damn. But watch this. You're gonna hear all of those Republicans. Oh man, it's the president's fault for this. Like, no, I mean, y'all don't like Mexico. We can't send nothing down there. Mexico. I'm not sure what Geodis. Oh, so this is the actual guide here. Oh Lord, don't get me into this because I'll sit here and read all of this. Oh, I can just click on here down here. All right. Here we go. Was it number 6? understand that options to redirect freight via Canada and Mexico may be limited. Unfortunately, rerouting alternatives via Canada and Mexico ports may be limited. Boy, I should have been an economist. Man, I'd be knowing this stuff off the top of the dome. Ports in Mexico and Canada will likely have insufficient space or terminal capacity. Some carriers do not offer rail deliveries from Canada or Mexico into the U.S. Intermodal routes between Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. may be limited or at full capacity. Rerouting to Canada or Mexico could result in an additional transit time of 7 to 14 days. Rerouting to Canada or Mexico could increase costs by $1,200 to $2,000 per FEU for the port-to-port part, which in return, once it gets here, we got to up the price. Listen, everything is a business. Everything is a business. You know, they say they should make stuff more affordable. But when you sell something when you're at home and you sell something to somebody, you set your price. Now, of course, you don't, as far as these corporations go, they can't do the price gouging where they just up it on you. That's why when you see gas stations, typically all the gas stations are around the same price in that area because they can't go up too high. That's illegal. But if they paying this extra $1,200, $2,000, they gonna be like, wait. We got to recoup this cost. And who is hurting? The consumer. Expect increased freight and container fees. In addition to increased capacity pricing, container loading, unloading, and handling delays will increase container fees. Your per diem, emptying and clearing containers as quickly as possible, retrieving and returning containers before the. So this is talking about, because they knew that this was coming. We know that the pamphlet got put out in July 2024. So 2 months ago, they're like, y'all got to the 30th to figure this out. All right, now this is getting into some damn shipping lingo. I don't need to read this. I'll read this on my own time. $13 hours ago. Booze, bananas. Oh man, I like booze. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Was an hour. We do yeah. Let me grab me something to eat. I'm gonna get off of here. We got Tubi Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the channel. I was gonna talk about the hurricane, but I do got to grab me something to eat first. We got Tubi Tuesday over on Mo.J at 3 p.m. We'll watch that. It's a Kindle selected movie. Loyalty over trust. So we'll check that out. Well, I'll keep you guys updated with what's going on with these ports. And man, hopefully it don't last too long, but hopefully they get their money, because you know that's what it's all about, that dollar sign. If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Mo.J. I'll be back in like an hour and a half. Sheesh.
You can